Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has held a huge anti-imperialist march in Caracas, seeking to capitalize on US leader Donald Trump's threat of possible military intervention in the Latin American state. Thousands of government supporters gathered for the rally in the Venezuelan capital, where Maduro implored the crowds to defend the country against what he called the Yankee imperialist boot. The flare in tensions between the two nations has somewhat blighted US Vice President Mike Pence's tour of the region, which began on Sunday in Colombia, where he spent time with people who had fled the upheaval in Venezuela.
President Trump's made it very clear we will not stand by while Venezuela collapses into dictatorship. We will not stand by as Venezuela crumbles. But it's important to note, as the President said, that a failed state in Venezuela threatens the security and prosperity of our entire hemisphere and the people of the United States of America.
In retaliation against the Trump administration's comments on the ongoing political crisis in Venezuela, Maduro ordered the armed forces to hold exercises. The civic military operations are due to take place at the end of August.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has delayed a decision to fire missiles towards the US Pacific territory of Guam. Kim inspected his army command on Monday and has been briefed on the plan to land 4 missiles near the island. However, he will watch American actions for a while longer before launching the rockets, the country's state-run media is reporting. China is urging the US and South Korea to postpone a joint military exercise scheduled for next week, saying it will only increase tensions on the Korean peninsula. US officials have in recent days played down the risk of an imminent conflict while stressing that they are ready to respond to any attack from North Korea. US Vice President Mike Pence spoke to reporters on Monday.
We're putting all of the resources of the United States and the energies of this president behind an effort to resolve this present confrontation with North Korea peaceably. But as the president has said, all options are on the table.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States.
Last week, President Trump said America wouldn't hesitate to retaliate if North Korea continues to threaten the US and its allies. US President Donald Trump has returned to his home in New York for the first time since taking office. But if he was expecting a warm welcome, it wasn't to be. Instead, thousands of protesters lined the streets of Manhattan, chanting "New York hates you" and "shame." Earlier in the day, Trump forcefully condemned the white nationalists responsible for a violent rally over the weekend that left 1 person dead and dozens injured. Trump's denunciation of the groups that make up some of his most passionate supporters followed days of criticism after his initial response blamed many sides for the violence. The president's revised statement on the Charlottesville attack came after 3 members of a White House business panel resigned in protest of Trump's half-hearted reaction to the racially motivated violence. Trump has also faced vocal criticism from across the political spectrum.
A 13-year-old girl has been killed and 12 people injured in a village east of Paris after a car crashed into a pizzeria. The driver of the BMW that rammed the terrace of the cafe in Setsaw was arrested at the scene. According to an Interior Ministry spokesman, the 32-year-old Frenchman had tried to kill himself 3 days previously. I've ruled out a terrorist motive. I've opened an investigation for voluntary homicide with a weapon.
Homicide volontaire avec arme.
The incident occurred near La Ferté-sous-Jouarre, 55 kilometers from Paris, at around 8:30 on Tuesday evening. The driver, who had no previous criminal record, told police he had weapons in the car when they arrived at the scene. According to one witness account, half of the vehicle entered the restaurant, mowing down all customers in its wake.
Iran could abandon its nuclear agreement with world powers within hours if the United States imposes any more new sanctions, says Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. He chose Parliament to sound the warning, in part also to disarm his hardline domestic opposition. If the US administration is willing to repeat previous experiences, Iran will certainly, within a short period, not short on the scale of weeks or months, but on the scale of hours and days, return to a much more advanced position than when the talks started. The re-elected moderate Rouhani has seen benefits from the agreement to put Iran's nuclear weapons program on ice. But hardliners see little gain for the sacrifice of a game-changing weapon, and less since President Trump's election.
Pakistan's been celebrating 70 years of independence from its former colonial ruler, Britain. The day began with a 21-gun salute in the federal capital, Islamabad, a ceremony repeated in all provincial capitals. A change of guard also took place at the mausoleum of Pakistan's founder, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. President Mamnoon Hussain used the occasion to call on the country to come together and ignore their differences. Sentiments shared by the governor of Sindh, who praised Pakistani development and said people today are far better off than 70 years ago.
70 साल पहले के मुकाबले में बहुत ज़्यादा बदल चुकी है अच्छे नज़र से.
As August 14th is a national holiday, millions of Pakistanis took to the streets to celebrate with fireworks and flag waving and festivities.
Hundreds of people are feared dead in Sierra Leone following severe flooding and mudslides. In the mountain town of Regent on the outskirts of the capital, Freetown, roads were turned into churning rivers. Dozens of homes are reported to have been engulfed by mud while residents slept inside. Officials have said it is too early to give exact numbers of casualties, but some reports put the death toll over 300, with around a quarter of those thought to be children. Mudslides and floods are fairly common during the rainy season in West Africa, where deforestation and poor town planning put residents at risk.
Firefighters battled more than 90 forest fires across Greece within the past 24 hours. An outbreak fed by dry winds and hot weather saw blazes burning near Athens, in the Peloponnese and on the Ionian islands of Zakynthos and Kelophonia. The fire near Athens has been burning for a third day. Authorities ordered a precautionary evacuation of 2 summer camps and homes in the area and evacuated a monastery after flames reached its fence on Monday. A local councillor said the blaze had damaged several dozens of homes. It started in Kalamos, a coastal holiday spot some 45 kilometers northeast of the capital, and spread to 3 more towns. Hundreds of residents fled to the beach to spend the night, and a state of emergency has been declared in the area. In Zakynthos, an island popular with foreign tourists, the situation is better, but fires continue to burn for a 5th day. One minister has claimed that these fires had been set deliberately. In the Peloponnese area of Ilia, the site of Greece's worst fires in 2007, which killed more than 70 people, blazes broke out in 3 areas on Monday, prompting the evacuation of a village. The fire brigade said rugged terrain dotted with small communities made the firefighting difficult.
Televidente, momento agora para um espaço comercial, agora nós estamos back no Informe Deportivo.